Basileus' machine. It's a house-like machine designed by the devil and powered by the dead. It physically resembles a 2-story mansion with walls made of ectobar glass etched with Latin containment spells. At the heart of the house is a central core of huge mechanical gears and a rotating crest of rings. It requires 13 earth-bound spirits, all of which represent the Black Zodiac, in order to work. Once the machine is activated, it will supposedly open the Ocularis Infernum, Latin for the Eye of Hell, which grants the user unfathomable power. The machine is named after the 15th century astrologer Basileus, who created the blueprints for the machine and the acronym while he was under demonic possession. The machine was built by Cyrus nearly 600 years later, an eccentric treasure hunter. He was able to contain 12 of the 13 ghosts. The firstborn son, a ghost of a little bratty boy named Billy Michaels, who loved to pretend to be a cowboy. One day, another little kid challenged Billy to a duel, but Billy's cap gun was no match for that boy's real steel-tipped arrow that Billy's ghost still carries. Unlike most of the ghosts, this one is a mild threat, never attacking anyone and just saying, "I want to play." The torso. Jimmy the Gambler, Gambino, was a gambler in the early 1900s who caught the attention of the Mafia. After he lost a boxing bet and didn't have the money to pay up, the Mafia cut him into pieces and wrapped him in cellophane, dumping the remains in the ocean. His ghost appears as a torso with a severed head nearby and is more a neutral spirit than actively hostile. The bound woman, Susan Legrow, was the richest girl in town and was very popular. Her one flaw was the way she toyed with boys and men. During her senior prom night, she was killed by a jilted ex named Chet Walters, a star quarterback. After catching her cheating with another guy, her ghost lures Bobby into the dangerous basement and still shows in her prom attire, bound ropes holding her arms. The Withered Lover, Jean Kritkos, was a happy and devoted wife and mother. She died as a result of fire injuries at St. Luke's Hospital. Unlike most of the ghosts, she's not dangerous, she is benevolent. The Torn Prince, Royce Caton, was a gifted and famous teenage baseball player in the 1940s and 50s who caught the eye of colleges around the USA. Thanks to his challenger, a greaser who set him up, Royce died in an accident caused by cut-break lines. His remains are still buried at the baseball diamond, and his ghost carries his baseball bat. The Angry Princess. Dana Newman was a beautiful but abused lady who lived in the later 1900s. She had plastic surgeries to alter her perceived flaws, and after a botched experiment that mutilated her eye, she brutally killed herself in a bathtub at the clinic. Her ghost often carries blood, is naked, and carries the same knife she used to commit suicide. The Pilgrim. Isabella Smith came to North America as a colonist in order to find a new life after being an orphan in England. The tight-knit community ostracized and ignored her and used her as a scapegoat. Being accused of witchcraft when crops and animals mysteriously died, she denied such accusations, but she was trapped in a burning barn but managed to escape unharmed. That sealed her fate, and she died of starvation after being condemned to the pillory that she carries with her as a ghost. The great child Harold Shelboom was a special needs man who never outgrew diapers and had to be spoon-fed even as a fully grown adult. He often made baby sounds. After being mocked, teased, and tormented relentlessly all his life, he caused a massacre at the old freak show, where he and his mother, Margaret Shelburne, lived. Some of the freaks had kidnapped and killed his mother as a joke one night. The circus owner, Jimbo, had Harold mutilated beyond recognition. His ghost appears as Harold did in life, with a small patch of hair, a bib covered in vomit and cloth diapers. He still holds the axe that he used to kill his enemies. The dire mother, Margaret Shelburne, Harold's mother, was a shy little lady standing 3 feet tall. She never could stand up for herself. At the freak show where she lived, she was raped by the tall man, another circus freak, and gave birth to her illegitimate son Harold, whom she loved more than life itself. She smothered and spoiled him from infancy and never stopped as he grew. This is the main reason for Harold's mental handicap. The two were abused to the point where Harold killed almost the entire circus after Margaret died. As ghosts, they remain together, with Harold being protective. Like the torso, she is not aggressive. The Hammer. A happy and honest family man and blacksmith, George Markley was falsely accused of stealing by a higher-up named Nathan, and threatened with exile from their old western town. George refused to leave and his family was lynched by Nathan and his band of thugs while walking home from the town market one day. Seeking justice in the corrupt town, George took his blacksmith's hammer and killed those responsible, but the townsfolk chained him to a tree and drove railroad spikes into his body. His left hand was cut off and his hammer was crudely attached to it. His ghost is one of the more angry spirits. The Jackal. Born to a prostitute in 1887, Ryan Kuhn developed a sick appetite for women, attacking and harming strays and prostitutes in the night. He voluntarily went to Boreham Wood Institute for treatment to cure this problem, but the medical practices made him much worse, causing him to go completely insane after years of solitary confinement, having his head locked in a cage after breaking out of his straitjacket and developing a hatred of humanity. When the asylum burst into flames, he chose to stay behind and perish in the fire. His ghost carries his torn straitjacket with a torn cubic head cage. It is called a sign of hell's winter. The Juggernaut. Horace Breaker Mahoney was born very disfigured and was an outcast his entire life. His mother abandoned him at a tender age and his dad put him to work in the junkyard, using his unusual strength to crush cars. After his dad died, Horace went insane. He would take motorists and hitchhikers, tear them apart with his bare hands, and feed the remains to his dogs. After several of these murders, he was arrested. A SWAT team shot and killed him when he broke free of his handcuffs. As a ghost, he remained at the junkyard with his body riddled with bullet holes, killing intruders. Both Dennis and Cyrus remark that his kill count numbered in the 40s, making his ghost one of the most evil and dangerous of the 12. Cyrus may have captured 12 of the ghosts. However, this machine requires 13. Could you be the 13th ghost that this machine needs? You must be willing to sacrifice yourself for a loved one. It could be you.